But let us grab ourselves our first interviewee, which is Chronologic. So I'm going to drag him in. Hello there, Chronologic. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am very good as well. Very excited to be playing and casting some more Anbennar. So, first of all, can you tell us who you're playing in the game and what you do in Anbennar? What is your role?
I'm playing Anbennar, but of course renamed the Order of Chroniclers. That was my Easter egg that I wanted to put in, so I'm very happy with it.
Yes, the
Uh,
name Chronologic, and now you're playing Order of Chronicles. I feel like there might be some element of bias going on in there.
it was actually completely coincidental, but it is great. I got my chroniclers. Um, but I'm the wiki lead and a canon reviewer, canon core slash. So honestly, I spend most of my time canon reviewing. Um, but when I'm not doing that, I make wiki pages and I review wiki pages. And I just generally move around and dabble in threads and lore and
That is
yeah.
something I wanted to actually touch on as well because the wiki has gone through quite a bit of a evolution in the past, say, year or so. Um, what has spurred on this very much more? I don't want to say professional element, but like the change in the wiki. It used to be a lot of um, the writing there was more who was saying it wasn't there's a word that I'm trying to think of that I can't think of. Um, Unreliable narrator is what it used to
Yeah.
be, but is it still the same, or what has changed recently in the wiki?
So I guess this kind of ties into how I started doing the wiki. I think I put it on my fact sheet. I don't know, but one day it used to be anyone could get the wiki chronicle role if they asked for it because it was like why not? It doesn't do anything. And so I think I was in probably off topic or somewhere, and we were talking about it, and I was like, man, I could do pages totally. And so Professor Hen, who used to be a moderator, said, well, I'll give you the role if you go do pages. And I said, sure. So he gave me the role. They gave me a role, and I just kept making pages after that. I just that was about it. I started making pages and just didn't stop until I got the lead role.
That's cool.
Um,
So
before
you
that, then
you you
oh,
just
oh yeah,
you
you
just make it until it's like, okay, you're the one that's doing this thing the most, so you can have the role that you're already kind of fulfilling anyway.
yeah. I'd basically been the only one making pages, and then Stern and Beppa were probably like the first two who were like, "Hey, how do I make pages?" And I was like, "It's so easy. You just ask people for lore and then you write it." And so I was like leading them to write pages, and at that point it was like, might as well just be wiki lead.
So on the wiki now, is this something you have access to, like information wise? How many pages of lore, or just how many pages are there on the wiki now?
I do have access to that number. Um,
Because I
I think
think
it's
it's
three
fairly
thousand,
it's 3,000.
something like that. Oh, how do I check? There's some way to check like how many pages there are.
Because I think it is. Everyone knows that there is a lot of depth to Anbenar, and
Oh
a
no.
lot of work has gone in. There's a lot of lore, backstory, a future story, all of this. But I think it does go kind of underappreciated, just the absolute depths of it, and how much there actually is. Um, but yeah, like the putting all of that from getting it from the mission trees, getting it from the events that are in the game, and putting it on the wiki that everybody can read, I think is a really valiant effort.
Oh, thank you. I completely lied, by the way. It's 1,600.
That's still a lot, that's still impressive. Like, you got four figures in there for sure. A very impressive a number. Um, So how much time roughly do you spend on making a single page then? Like, what is the process that goes into making these uh, entries into the Wikipedia?
I'd say it really depends. Like earlier, between 9:30 and 10, I got up early. Well, it's 9:30, 10, and 9:30 a.m. Now 10 a.m. for me.
Okay.
Um, but I got up. I don't know if there's someone in the server named Astera who's working on the Cardesti system. I got up at 9:30 before the dev clash, got into a voice call with them, and a bunch of new Cardesti lore just got made. So I was in the voice call with them, and between 9:30 and 10, I wrote 4 new pages.
Okay.
I wrote a page on what the Cardesti curse is. I added new stuff to the Cardesti, and wrote things about 2 new Cardesti characters, or like they're already there, but kind of like flesh out their lore more.
Okay.
And then somebody else gave me a lore document that I was basically able to just copy paste into the wiki. So it was 5 pages total. So like
So
those all took me 30 minutes.
okay, so it's not. I'd say the process doesn't take a lot of time, but there is a lot that still goes into it. Like obviously you need to get the right information and getting it from the right people, the people who obviously have made this lore, finding them to get the lore from them to put it on the wiki. I suppose there's a process there as well that goes into it.
The chi page and the rending page, those I think took me a month, maybe a bit more, because I was working with making the information. I compiled it, I wrote it, it was revised, I rewrote it, revised, rewrote it. So that page in total probably took about a month.
I will have to look up the page on the rending because I keep hearing hints and lore drops about it and what happens in it, and I very interested and I want to learn more. So knowing that there's a page about it on the wiki is very exciting for me. I'm not gonna lie.
It is everything except the aftermath, which I keep delegating to people and then they don't do it. And I need
Ah.
to do it myself. But at this point, I feel like I've delegated it so many times, I just don't want to do it myself.
You gotta stamp your foot down, of course, of course.
um, but yeah, that took a while also because oh, I wrote the page and then we changed the dates for the rending, which then changed the dates for like 10 pages or more. And then so I went through with Rat, who like who did a bunch of command stuff and is very involved in command lore, and we basically went through and we're fixing all sorts of timelines all over the place.
Very nice.
So
So what has been like your favorite things to work on the wiki then? Like somebody give me your favorite lore, I guess would be a way to put that.
honestly, it was the chi page.
The
Oh,
cheat page. Okay.
because that was just like spending like it was fun. It was like midnight for me or midnight for Thor, talking about chi and Karlov and voice chats talking about it and like what it was, going back and forth, revising, and that was a fun process. Also, getting to talk to Karlov and Thor is fun.
Oh yeah,
So
always. I haven't had the pleasure of talking to Karlov much yet, but I've been a big fan of Thorfindel for quite some time now. He's always
yeah,
fun to
Thor
talk to.
does a, and Thor just does a lot, which is
Yes,
always very impressive.
for sure. So you want to tell me about your nation then as well, the Order of the Chroniclers? What is their deal? And is their name change lore friendly as well? And why is that?
The name change initially was lore friendly. Owning the entire Daemsir is not as much. Um, my nation, Order Chroniclers, I mean, it's centered in Anbennar. So that was correct. The Order Chronicles is centered in Anbennar in itself. It's in the Temple District, I want to say.
Of course.
Yeah, it's in the Temple District. So that's why I was like, if I'm playing Anbennar, which is like my favorite playstyle, sitting there making money, doing nothing. And that's where the Order Chronicle is. So how could I not? So I might as well be the Order of Chroniclers.
That's fair enough. As well, just that you mentioned Anbennar itself obviously is a city, but the fact that you know where this Order of Chroniclers is inside the city, when in EU4 terms, it's just a province. is it just shows like the depths at which Anbennar goes beyond the game itself, which is, I think, very cool, and also helps a lot with people who are running this mod or running this world in their like D&D settings and playing it in actual D&D games, which I really appreciate, and I'm very jealous of people who get to play D&D in Anbennar. So does Anbencost have like a fully fleshed out map then?
It does. Have you ever checked this? I don't. I say this so often. Have you ever
Have you
checked its
checked the
wiki
wiki?
page?
Not for Anbencost. Most of my time on the wiki has actually been spent in Bulwark, because that's my favorite region in the world. Um, and I don't know if you noticed, but I did contribute to the Bulwark wiki page a while back. I made a couple of maps for it, which have since been edited out of the Bulwark page, but I still get updates by email every time somebody updates the Bulwark page. I get notified of it. But yeah, that's where most of my I look up the nations that I'm playing, and any nations that are like around there or influenced by them. I haven't played around Anbencost very much, so I haven't actually seen that wiki page.
Yeah, country pages are one of the most lacking, just because God, there's so many countries.
They are.
So that's what I was like the most in demand. But yeah, we're always getting new maps, which makes it hard because every time someone makes a map edit, I'm seething, knowing that our old maps are now useless.
Fair.
But yeah, Ambercost has the city has like a total description of like all of its districts. It even has we only use AI generated images because art's pretty low in demand for the wiki and pretty high in demand everywhere else. But it has some images generated for its different districts. It's got the Bilge, Tower Hall, Temple District, Dove Market, Royal Court, Newport, Elm Docks. So someone could definitely make a map. Like all the aspects are there. But
Very nice.
Ambercost is like the most fleshed out city in the game.
The City of World's Desire is I guess what I've heard it referred to as. I think it's also in its mission tree called that as well.
I think so. I think that's at some point. City of World's Desire.
We're talking about maps, because maps are cool. We like maps here.
I love maps. Oh, I love the wiki maps. We had a person who's not very active anymore, but Stephis. Man, it's kind of embarrassing. I don't know the name, but who did a lot of really good maps, like the current Bulwar map. No hate to your old one, but did a Bulwar map, did a Canor map, and just which we don't have done on the wiki for some reason. But
Well, time to make a new page. Get them maps in. What is the process then for saying there's this Nathalar map that was made, posted to the Reddit? Is it permissible for you to use that on the wiki, or are you able to ask this person who made it? Can you put it on the wiki? Like, what is the process there?
funny enough, I did ask in the Reddit if I could use it, and I never got a response.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But I did ask. I saw it and I was like, man, this is so good. It should be on the wiki.
Yeah.
Can I use it? And I got no response.
Yeah, that person could have been a contributor in their own way. They passed up the chance.
I love wiki contribution. I mean, there's it's gone a little bit harder in that. I guess I never answered that earlier question. With my terrible little amount of free time, but somehow still do it. I've not an admin, a content moderator on the wiki. So I always go through recent changes. I patrol the change logs. I make sure it's people I know and trust. And if it's not, that's also cool. I then just check its history and see what they actually added.
Right. Yes.
But if someone wants to contribute to the wiki, they're perfectly able to. As long as they're not putting in Minecraft music videos again. It'll be tracked. But go into the
was a thing
Discord
that happened
many years ago.
Yeah. Naturally.
We fear that they're still somewhere in the wiki.
So, for people who want to contribute to the wiki, are they able to, like, in what ways are they allowed to contribute? Because I imagine it's not permissible to just make up your own lore. But what areas is it fine for somebody who has not had, maybe they're not on the Discord, they're not a dev, they're just a fan of Anbennar, they've played a bunch of it, and they see a wiki page that is, say, less than filled out. What is the process like for somebody who wants to contribute?
There's so being a wiki chronicler isn't making as much lore as one might think it is. It's mostly making lore in gray space. Um, so like for example, there was no FLI page, so I wrote the FLI page. Someone gave me a document. I took information from it, compiled it, made the FLI page, and while I was making it, I said, "Hey, I'm writing about some biological theory of evolution, basically. So I need to make a Darwin." So I made a Darwin figure. I was writing about some expedition, so I made up the expedition. It's that kind of gray space. Like I'm not
Okay,
making that whole lore, but I'm like, I need this expedition. I made up an expedition. I'm like, well, I mean, I just made up the expedition, so who's gonna care if I make up some characters for it too?
right.
So
Yeah,
then
that
I
makes
wrote
sense.
characters for it. But if you're just coming onto the wiki, um, well, the first thing, the best thing to do is messaging in the Wiki Chronicles channel, and Discord like thread, because we love to see people there.
Yes.
But we've got a couple different initiatives. We've got the regional one, which is, there's so many regions in the mod. I can open up the map mode if I can find the map mode. You got small country, Lencanor, the borders, Busa, Nor, Akase, Kedarata, Bulwar proper, so on, so on. And a majority of them across the world don't have wiki pages. So a big initiative of ours right now is let's get these wiki pages. Let's find maps.
Yeah.
Let's just write down who are the people that live there, what are the countries, kind of write down the regions. Along with, we want to get all the cultures, but obviously there's so many cultures. We're just working on human first. Trying to write down all the human cultures and what they're about.
Starting with the biggest group then.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I did see in chat as well a little while ago. I think it was actually Beppa that mentioned it. That all of the Dwarven holds now have histories and lore and wiki pages dedicated to them. Even ones that maybe don't have mission trees yet. Is
yeah,
that, or did I read that right, or am I
that was.
completely making shit up there?
So we started that. Me, Beppa, and Sternson. We each did like 3 holds or something, and then I got busy and Stern got busy. And Beppa just kept going. And honestly, we've got a pretty good wiki pipeline here. I started as wiki chronicler, became Kenner core, Kenner reviewer. Beppa started as wiki chronicler, became Dwarvar core. Hydra started as chronicle, became Bulwar core. Stern became moderator and Kenner core. So pretty good pipeline there. But Beppa has just kept writing pages and just kept writing hold pages. So as Aris made the lore, Beppa would write the page. So I probably made 3, Stern made 3, Beppa probably made like 20 hold pages.
Oh, very nice.
So all of those I believe are done. And honestly, if you see a hold page, I'd attribute it to Beppa.
Okay. How much do the wiki how much does it impact like future development of the game as well? So, for instance, you're talking about these holds, and there are lore and pages dedicated to the various holds that don't have mission trees yet. Will the people who eventually go down and make mission trees for these currently empty holds, will they be like referencing the wiki and see what's written there and like, because obviously the wiki you said there are made from the lore that is given by Aureus. But then does the person who's making the mission tree go back and reference it? Have you noticed that happening at all?
Yeah. Especially the holds. A lot of them were like completely rewritten. All their like national ideas changed. And so then that goes on the wiki. I mean, they could check the national ideas or the wiki. Which one of the wiki is it's more accessible. Um, a lot of people, in Anbennar, the server even don't have Europa. I mean, they can't play the game. So we want to make sure that they can still get the lore without that.
Okay, that's
And by doing that, if someone wants to make themes, I mean, imagine they have Europa, hopefully.
yeah.
But if they want to check, oh shoot, what is this? What does this hold do again? they don't need to open up the game or check the files every time. They can just open the wiki.
It's not even about not having the game. Sometimes the game just takes quite some time to open.
Oh, so long. The worst times, the worst pages are the ones where I have to open up the game for.
Yeah. All right. Is there any like final things that you want to like inform chat of, or tell people to go and check out? Any specific pages that you're very proud of that you want to share?
I'm very proud of the Chi and the vending page. If you're in the Discord, I highly recommend you join our Wiki Chroniclers thread. New wiki pages, as every new wiki page we make gets posted there.
Oh, that's cool.
And so if you want the newest up-to-date lore and everything, I mean, the Centaur page just got redone. So you want to actually see something about Centaurs more than they are spawns of Rohibos. It has a massive page now, but all the newest lore gets put into new wiki pages. Battle of Rodenstep has a page that doesn't just have a giant disclaimer saying this is not real lore.
Nice.
Now it has real lore.
That's good to know.
All the new wiki pages put there, I highly recommend you join the thread and can see them there.
I suppose it's very helpful for, like Zaki going back to it, but for people who are wanting to play in Anbennar in their D&D world, the wiki will be like phenomenal resource for that.
Yes, that's. I mean, Sternson, one of our chroniclers and moderator, runs D&D sessions, and we even have like D&D section of the server, but like just runs D&D off of it, and the wiki is just great for that. And while the wiki is canon for Anbennar, especially if we were doing D&D, it's just a good start.
Yeah.
People are free to go in any direction they want.
All right, well, perfect. Well, thank you very much for chatting with me. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you the best of luck with both your Order of Chroniclers in game as well as your Order of Chroniclers in the wiki as well.
Thank you. I've been staring at this government reform button since the game started, and I've not yet clicked one. So I've done nothing.
Oh, I think you're. Oh yeah, you don't really have very good options here. Maybe like organized military stuff. Just go very basic. But yeah, I think you're in a pretty decent position. Actually, there's one thing I wanted to ask you on that as well. What team are you on? Who is on your team? And have you got any issues with Viacok?
Okay. Well, Viacok's on my team. My team is Viswal, Viacok, Matty on Moonhaven, Schwendigo all the way over in the Forbidden Place.
Right.
And Orbitrol.
And New Wonders, I think, as well.
New Wonders switched to Orbitrol.
Oh, okay.
My issues with Viacok did all this in the first session when I was not here. And while I appreciate them making our team a bunch of money, I do want my islands eventually. But we've come to an arrangement about that since they're on my team.
Fair.
They just raid me.
I mean, no. I was looking at your devastation, and there is devastation, but I think... no, he did. Yeah, no, he absolutely raided you. Me. Yeah, no, that happened. That's why, having gnolls near you, yeah, they might be on your team, but, maybe it should be mutually beneficial rather than take my people as ship slaves.
Our alliance breaks for one moment if they do that.
Yeah, that's the way of it. Gnolls, can't trust them. I hear they're devils.
Seemingly so.
Hell, I'm a Bulwa fan, calling the gnolls devils.
So yeah, I was like, Gilly's doing a great job with Boar lore and just Boar pages. Always making new stuff. Always making new stuff.
That's good. I do get updates on Bulwa's pages sometimes, and always like to see what new things are there. But yeah, I will let you go and enjoy your Order of Chroniclers game, and I wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you. This was a fun interview, and I always like watching your videos. They're always fairly fun.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Oh, and he's immediately going to go to war. yeah, so that was Chronologic, the wiki lead. So, very happy to go and chat with him.